Hey, e-commerce Fastlane listeners, the holiday season is just around the corner, and now is the perfect time to level up your inventory planning. Now, you can join our 7-day inventory planning bootcamp and learn how to keep your stock optimized, your costs down, and your profits soaring, all just in 1 week. Now, each day you'll receive a quick, actionable email packed with expert tips and strategies to help you avoid stockouts, reduce excess inventory, and drive more sales. Now, it's designed to be simple and efficient. Now, each lesson takes less time than it is to finish your morning coffee. Now, during the bootcamp, you're going to gain valuable insights on assessing and analyzing your inventory performance, intelligent demand forecasting, strategies to reduce your excess stock, ordering inventory on a budget, evaluating technology solutions to inventory planning and management, and implementing a continuous improvement mindset. Now, are you ready to ensure that your store is stocked and prepared for the holidays? This bootcamp will equip you with the essential skills to set appropriate stock levels, to improve demand forecasting, and optimize your inventory management practices. You'll learn how to prevent cash from being tied up in excess stock while avoiding costly stockouts that can frustrate customers and impact your bottom line. Now, don't let the holiday rush catch you off guard. Take control of your inventory and set yourself up for success for a smooth and more profitable season. Now, this bootcamp is perfect for e-commerce entrepreneurs, especially those that are powered by Shopify who want to maximize their holiday sales potential while minimizing their inventory-related headaches. Now, you can sign up now at ecommercefastlane.com/inventory-planning, and you can start your journey to smarter inventory management today. Now, don't miss this opportunity to transform your inventory planning before the holiday rush.
You're listening to eCommerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder, and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
So welcome back to eCommerce Fastlane. I'm your host, Steve Hutt, and today I have an amazing show lined up for you today. It's pretty rare, actually. I actually have 2 guests on today. I'm going to call them brilliant minds. It's so interesting. They've been involved in the tech world for quite a while. I kind of creeped on their LinkedIn profile, kind of both of them before recording today, is Vinod Kumar Ramachandran and Arnaud Weber. They're people that have created a product that it's quite interesting, and I think it's going to open your mind about the possibilities of how you can use AI. Their company is called Big Sur AI, and they're at bigsur.ai. Now, some of the research I found before recording today was they started it together. They used to work at Google, and they really helped build and improve a lot of products that you probably have used every day. They were involved with Chrome, they were involved with Android, they were involved with Google Shopping. More recently, I learned that they've raised $6.9 million from Lightspeed Venture Partners. They're there to build powerful AI tools that any store owner can use. And I think that's the big thing. Lightspeed doesn't just invest in brands unless they're solving some real serious problems, and there really are some problems of improving conversion rate and average order value. We're going to talk a bit about that in a few minutes. Their main product is called the AI Sales Agent, and it really is changing about how online stores can work by creating better shopping experiences that almost feel like you're in a retail location and talking to a sales associate. And quite exciting. I'm seeing significant improvements in conversion rate. I mean, up to 4x. I've seen a couple case studies, and we're going to talk about that today. And they're working with some big brands, Rad Power Bikes, Wise, quite a few others that they're working with. It's pretty amazing. And so I'm excited to kind of unpack all this today. I think the timing is absolutely perfect. We're in Q4 right now. It's just before BFCM. This holiday season, I think this is an opportunity for those that really want to win and kind of gain some momentum into 2025. I think finding the right AI tools for your business is going to be very impactful. It can create that moat that I think you need. And so welcome Vinod and Arnaud to eCommerce Fastlane.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Excited to be here. Thanks, Steve.
Oh, my pleasure. And so before we kind of dive into Big Sur AI, I just would love to hear about each of your backgrounds at Google and then kind of what inspired you both to kind of leave what I would call very successful careers and then choose to start this venture together.
Yeah, I can get this started, Steve. So I'm Vinod Ramachandran. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Big Sur AI. We are transforming online conversion rates for retailers and brands with our AI sales agent platform that we will talk about a lot. So before we started this company, I spent quite a few years at Google, first initially building the Chrome mobile browser with Arnaud, and then building several Google Ads and Google Shopping products. And so there were a bunch of learnings during that time that kind of led us to start this company, and we will go a little bit deeper.
Cool. And yeah, I'm Arnaud Weber. I'm the other co-founder of Big Sur. I run technology. And we believe basically that there is a huge opportunity to develop AI to help merchants sell more products while also helping online shoppers discover the right product at the right time. Before that, I was actually at Twitter running the ads team and everything related to revenue engineering. And before that, I was at Google where I was on Chrome and Android.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Thank you so much for kind of sharing that. So I guess to kind of follow up on that Google experience, were there any specific insights that maybe you gained while being at Google about AI and about e-commerce, I believe, that kind of maybe convinced you that maybe now was the right time to launch Big Sur AI?
Absolutely, Steve. So as I said, when I was at Google, I helped build many Google advertising and Google shopping products. And as we all know, platforms like Google and Meta have kind of become the standard and often the only viable option for businesses to get in front of consumers. So one of the things that I observed was this immense pressure that brands were facing in navigating digital ads just to stay competitive. But these ads actually come with a very heavy price, particularly for small and mid-sized brands. That's because, even though they spend a large proportion of their revenue on ads, the average conversion rate on e-commerce sites tend to hover around 2%. Mm-hmm. And the return on ad spend is typically lower than 4:1. So for smaller businesses in particular, this is simply unsustainable. So, my observation is that the ecosystem is heavily skewed towards the largest players. And then on top of it, as we know, the customer acquisition costs have been rising through the years. So what this means is these small businesses have very little room to compete, and they are constantly, in this cycle of spending more for less impact. I think what we need to recognize is this type of inefficiency, strains not just those individual businesses, but the economy at large, because these SMBs are struggling to compete with corporations with deeper pockets. So what I view is almost every business has to pay the Google and the Meta tax for every transaction that's happening on their stores, right? I mean, that's kind of the reality today.
Yeah, that Google tax is such an interesting. I know firsthand that Google, because I've read a lot about this, about the fact that they've kind of structured their international operations really just to kind of minimize their tax obligations, and I think that's kind of where the Google tax came from. And but you're looking at from a little different angle, like you're saying, hey, how do we make kind of AI technology more accessible and more fairly priced for Shopify brands of all sizes? I think that's a problem, is that it seems like a lot of these great technologies are only for larger enterprises, and they come with a larger price tag also.
That's right. That's right. I mean, what I was referring to when I said Google tax or Meta tax is this reality that for most e-commerce brands, ads are their primary traffic source, right? We all know this thing.
I guess.
So even for, let's say, a shopper buys a jacket from Patagonia, the next time the shopper is in market for a similar product, they typically start their search back again on Google or Meta instead of going directly to the brand's website.
Right.
And so the brands are kind of forced to repay to even reacquire the same customer who have previously purchased from them. And so this creates this dependency on third-party ad platforms, which is basically requiring them to pay this tax every time. And the main thing is the retention concept is no longer given in this ecosystem, because brands are all competing constantly for your attention. and these ad platforms are basically controlling the pricing and visibility, thereby kind of keeping these brands dependent on them. So that's what I mean by like, you have to basically pay this Google or Meta tax for every transaction. And anytime you pay this thing, obviously it eats into your profit margin significantly, which is particularly bad for the small and medium businesses. And that's where we believe that, AI has a huge role to actually change this landscape quite a bit. And that's what we're working on.
Right. So let's talk about your flagship products. I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I have you on today was to talk about the AI sales agent. So, and some of the things that I've read online too, kind of before recording, you're right that typical Shopify brands, even when I'm in Shopify, I see 2.5% as a typical kind of conversion rate. But it comes back with the Google tax or Meta tax you talk about, the very significant marketing spend to kind of get to that level. And so, can you talk a bit about, walk us through like what exactly is the AI sales agent and kind of how does it help create a more engaging shopping experience, and how is it improving the overall conversion rate or even the AOV for that matter?
Yeah, for sure. I can explain how the AI sales agent works, and Arnaud will talk more about the metrics that we are seeing. First of all, I think with the emergence of AI, we see an enormous opportunity to kind of like create a level playing field for businesses of all sizes. And so AI has this power to drive higher conversion rates, which obviously can help both the brand as well as the customer. So if you imagine a store with like no salespeople, right? Mm-hmm. Typically the customer is lost and they don't even know where to start. Whereas the AI sales agent platform that we have built is like having an army of salespeople who are there to assist every customer coming to your online store, and they wouldn't stop until they help them find the perfect product. So as a result, businesses are now able to provide a significantly better shopping experience for their online customers, leading to higher conversion rates without having to spend more on ads to drive incremental sales, right? And so we are kind of helping brands make this shift. So to use like AI and improve the shopping experience, what we are doing effectively is we are helping brands focus on what they can fully control, which is their e-commerce site. And as a result, it reduces their dependence a little bit on the ad platforms for incremental sales. And it also helps them develop a longer lasting customer relationships so that those customers can come back directly to their site when they want to make a similar purchase in the future. And so this is what we are doing to kind of mitigate the Google and Meta tax in the long term. It's like we are empowering every brand to compete like a top tier brand, but not without the top tier budgets. And so we are already kind of seeing this work. So Arnaud, will be able to share more about like some of the metrics that we are seeing and how our product works.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So first of all, back to your question, this 2.5% number is like an average or median value, right? We have some clients with a conversion rate closer to 1% and some over 2.5%. Mm-hmm. And when you think about it, if this beautiful e-commerce site that they have was a brick and mortar store, it means that when 100 people walk in the store, only one person buys something. This is the reality of e-commerce today. And what's interesting here is that the digital ad industry is trying to optimize for outcomes like conversion by showing the right ad to the right consumer. But, despite the fact that the industry has been developed, so I've been developing some incredible technology to optimize conversion this way, there's only so much they can do when the consumer clicks on the ad, lands on some e-commerce site they don't control, and is basically left to themselves to decide what to buy or find the right product and things like that. So from a metric point of view, we look at two things really. One is what we call causal lift, which is based on A/B test. So basically we take half of the population, we expose them to our AI sales agent, and we take the other half and we don't expose them to the sales agent, just so we can measure scientifically the lift that our technology provides. Typically, we see 5 to 15% increase in sale just by helping those consumers find the product that they're looking for. The other thing that we look at is the probability that the consumer interacting with our technology will convert. And so typically this is where, like any consumer using our technology typically converted 4 times the rate and contribute to about 25% of all sales on that store. But I wanted to go back to the causal myth, the 5 to 15%. What's really interesting is that today it's impossible to increase to that level at the ad selection level. Like ad networks have reached their maturity and cannot go toward those numbers at this point.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think all people that are listening, all the brand founders, all the marketers that are listening today, they're always trying to figure out a way, how can I most effectively increase with my existing traffic that I already have on my site? How do I, because that's really the biggest challenge right now is anybody can send traffic. And you always hear the horror stories, comes back to the Google and Meta tax again, but you can send all this traffic. I've done so many postmortems with so many brands when I was at Shopify, and they say, yeah, we had incredible sales this year. Or during this Q4, during the BFCM time and the holiday times. But at the end of the day, their net profit was negative. I can appreciate that maybe the initial acquisition cost sometimes is a break even or slightly negative, and you have to work on the retention strategies of how do I get the second and third sale. Sometimes that's just the way the mathematics just works out in the finances of a particular business. But I think how you fit into the mix is that if we're not really increasing any more traffic to the site, I mean, you're going to get it anyways because we're in this Q4, holiday spending time, getting the share of wallet. But knowing that we have your technology running on a website, then all of a sudden you're actually converting a lot more of those existing customers that are already there, not having to spend more money to get more eyeballs with the same conversion rate.
That's exactly right, Steve. The conventional thinking here is that if you want to drive more sales, let's go spend more money on ads on Google, Meta, and other platforms, right?
Yeah.
But I think there has been very little effort to actually improve the consumer experience after they come to your site. These users clicked on your ad and landed on your store. So how could we kind of reinvent the consumer experience with the help of AI? If you're able to increase the conversion rates for the users who are already landing on your site, that should obviously lead to increased profitability and everything that you described, right? And this is why, as Arnaud said, the optimizations that have been done on the ad side for many years has kind of hit its saturation point. Like when you're spending more money for more traffic, you're basically competing against the largest corporations with deeper pockets, as I said earlier. Right. Whereas what you can control on your end, if you can improve the consumer experience on your own site, it still feels very much like a greenfield area of improvement. And so that's where our technology comes in, and we are really trying to reshape this future of e-commerce experience on a brand's website.
Yeah. So just the other thing which is very interesting is that large-scale search engines like Google and Bing are educating consumers to expect answers instead of 12 blue links. I'm sure you've all seen
Yes.
Google trying to do this and Bing doing this. And consumers being consumers, this is what they're going to expect everywhere. And this creates a giant opportunity to basically sell to those consumers better. They want answers right now. So you can imagine that an AI sales agent can provide those answers in a way which is very satisfying to the consumer, but also completely optimized for conversion and what the merchant wants to sell right now. And in a way, this is what we're doing. We're creating a product where consumers can have an interaction with an AI entity, which is exactly what they would expect from a brick and mortar store. And obviously doing this, is an easy way to create way more conversion for all traffic, paid or organic.
One thing I've noticed too, I was with Shopify for 6.5 years, and I, was merchant facing. So I had some big bad brands that I worked with over the years. Plus, I had my own startup and exits and things like that. So I've been deep for almost 20 years in e-commerce. But one thing that I noticed a lot is that this crawl, walk, run kind of philosophy, and I feel that some brands were very apprehensive at the beginning about wanting to do live chat because they were worried about the human capital and the overhead. And then in worst case, having, day parting and stuff on their live chat solution and or outsourcing to the Philippines or wherever. And they're worried about the brand voice and just the customer experience. But when they eventually got over the live chat thing, then, chatbots came into the equation. And I think, and that's kind of like the next step for some brands was to kind of go down that journey. And I call that more basic, or even using some of the native Shopify tools that are out there now that really can help. But I know that you've built something like a lot more sophisticated. So I think this is probably a good opportunity now to talk about your specific kind of unique approach to how the tool is able to implement it better than, in some cases, better than a live agent, and in a lot of cases, better than just a very simple customer service chat bot, like, do you ship to Canada and what's my tracking number for my order? I mean, those kind of things that's quick and easy lookup from within Shopify and whatever, but you go much further down the journey of the customer experience. So just like you can walk us through kind of why it's unique and compared to maybe some basic solutions that are out there.
Absolutely, Steve. I think there are many things I would like to highlight here, but okay. I'll focus on the important ones, right? I mean, First and foremost, I think the chatbots have kind of left bad taste in people's mouth, right? Uh-huh. Like the one that you see on the bottom right earlier, the pre-AI era, almost never used to work because it was very rigid, less flexible. You can only do certain things with it and so on. Mm-hmm. And really, AI has enabled us to go much beyond, what those traditional chatbots were able to offer. And we can now create content that is highly relevant for the user. And even if the user wants to take the conversation in any direction, we are continuously able to engage the user and provide useful information. So taking a step back, I think, you talked about customer service and chatbots. First thing is, we are one of the few AI solutions out there that is focused on reinventing the product discovery experience on a brand's website and helping shoppers make confident purchase decisions. There are quite a few solutions out there that are about post-order customer service, but we see a unique opportunity to drive more sales through an intelligent and assistive shopping experience that's powered by AI. So that's one key aspect of our product. The second thing is, our AI sales agent platform is truly versatile. It can solve multiple use cases. So not only users can ask questions to it, just like they would talk to an amazing salesperson at a brick and mortar store, but our platform can also dynamically generate relevant content for users and as they navigate the site. So they can experience our content even without asking a question, because our agent platform is able to understand the user intent and is able to produce that content dynamically. We can replace your search with a much better experience. We can even power your e-commerce quizzes. Instead of having those traditional rigid quizzes, we can now generate quizzes that are dynamic and can actually have a much better flow, leading to much higher performance. We could even auto-generate landing pages for your paid and organic traffic. So it's a truly versatile platform that you can use in many forms. It's not just one feature on your site.
I see.
And the third one I would say, which is probably super critical, is we are able to generate a ton of insights based on all the interactions and conversations that are happening between your consumers and your website. And with our customers, we are now generating several thousands of conversations. And the insights from these conversations can then be used to improve your merchandising strategy, your marketing strategy, updating your product descriptions, and so on. So to give you like one specific example, one of our customers, sell home security cameras.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we noticed is a top asked question from users was, can I use your camera without a service subscription? And the brand thought they have already communicated this, that you don't need a subscription to use our camera in the product description and so on, but it was still one of the top asked questions. So the insight from that could then be used to now make this information much more prominent on your marketing creatives, your merchandising creatives, and so on, right? It's just one example of how you could use these insights and actually tailor your marketing strategy accordingly. And the beauty with all this is that these benefits are so easy to obtain, Steve, because the integration is really simple. Especially for Shopify merchants, it only takes a few minutes of their time to actually get all of these benefits, right? And so that's why I think the AI has clearly opened the door to actually get all of these features, all of these benefits in very quick time.
Very cool. What's interesting too, I think, there's some people listening that are going to say, hey, okay, maybe this is all real and it works and it's effective maybe for some brands and some categories of products. I think that some people are going to think, well, I have unique products. I have a unique kind of customer needs. And so I guess my question back to you is like, how do you train I think the word is upskill, but like, how do you train your AI sales agent to become an expert kind of in a merchant's very specific product line? And then how are you able to kind of communicate with all these different methods you mentioned already, from quizzes to landing pages to very unique experiences, but also in the brand's voice? So I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, let me talk about this a little bit. So part of our effort has been to make this as easy as possible for all our merchants. And basically what we do is we have a custom crawler that we consume all the information available on the merchant website. And this is something that we continuously refresh. And also with Shopify, we use the Shopify API to access the product catalog. And each merchant on Shopify, we consume their feed. And from that information, basically, we can create a foundation experience, which is already really good. The voice of the brand is obtained from the product description, from what's visible on the website, etc. In addition to that, the merchant can, just like they will create material to train a large number of human sales agents to sell in their physical store or online, they can also prepare some materials that they can share with us, which is basically training for our AI for the purpose of selling. After that, everything is automatic. We have machine learning models, so we have AI that understand what topic is conducive of conversion, what topic is not, and then also the merchant has a merchant console that let them do some merchandising. So they could say, hey, I have too much inventory of product X, or I want to sell that product instead of this other product, and things like that.
So you can kind of nudge the AI a bit to a certain degree. Like if you know that you're getting kind of either oversold on something and a container is stuck, or you're really trying to promote something else, there are ways of kind of like a salesperson would do in store saying, hey, we want to promote these high margin products that are fantastic, and these kind of loss leader lower ones, maybe we're not going to promote those as much.
Exactly. So think of it as everything being equal. If both products satisfy the consumer needs, if that products, if the products that the merchant wants to sell that week ranks higher, that's what the AI sales agent will sell. The other thing I didn't mention is that there is what we call an FAQ system that let the merchant provide answer for difficult questions. And we never answer those questions verbatim, but the AI sales agent will learn from that to properly answer those hard questions. So in summary, this is really, we want the merchant to be fully in control of their AI sales agent. Just like, they would have weekly sales meeting with their human sales associate. They can control, what is said, how it's said, how questions are answered, etc.
I understand kind of how you differentiate yourself. I can tell already that that there's a lot more thought and technology behind what it is that you're building. I know there's quite a roadmap of enhancements that are coming also. But I think I find it interesting that brands, lots of brands I've seen on the website that have chosen to use your solution. They obviously were able to vet other solutions. They've chosen to be with you. And great success. So can we talk, one you brought up already with the Wise, a camera company, but are there any kind of a success story of one of your merchants that you can talk about publicly and saying, hey, here's the kind of challenge that they were facing. They chose Big Sur. And then I just would like to understand what kind of impact it made by them vetting and making a decision to use your solution. Because I think once people kind of hear a real story of a brand that was experiencing a challenge, a lot of people probably listening are having the exact same challenges. And they're like, hey, then maybe Big Sur AI is also a solution for them. So I would love to kind of open the floor to you, anybody you can talk about publicly. If you can't be specifically public about who they are, maybe we can talk more generally about the industry that they serve.
Yeah, we can certainly, talk about our work with Rad-Powered bikes. We're really proud of our partnership with them. They are one of our earliest customers, and they're a brand who embraced AI before AI was cool, right? And and it's kind of the courage that comes from these decisions that kind of help brands like them a lot. So when we started working with them, obviously we were running some early pilots with them. And since then, we've been improving our performance, adding more features and so on and so forth. And we've been constantly improving the impact that we've been driving for them. So we see about 13%, incremental sales online by the presence of Big Sur on their store. And this jump is not just luck, right? Because it happens because our platform can really understand consumers and it knows how to engage them in a really effective and conversational way. Like buying an electric bike is not easy. It's a very considered purchase. People have lots of questions. People need confidence. This is what you would get if you walked into a brick and mortar store and somebody was able to answer all your objections. That's when you kind of make these purchase decisions. But how do you do this online, right? And so that's where our system kind of can provide the right information to the user right when they need it. So it's instead of just shopping online, the customers feel like they're getting personalized advice. And therefore, this whole experience becomes much more enjoyable and effective. And so one of the things we noticed is customers want advice not only just on the bike, but they also want to understand about the accessories that go along with it. How could this product be, more useful to me? And having this AI sales agent can make these recommendations for them and suggest what the right accessories is for a particular bike. I think that makes that experience a lot more interesting. So it's been an ongoing partnership, and as I said, we are really grateful for our work with them. But also across other customers, as Arnaud mentioned, our platform has consistently delivered up to 15% in incremental sales for brands, and which is value. To our earlier conversation, Steve, that this is value that they're already leaving on the table today, right? These are customers that they've brought to their site, but some of them were abandoning before. What we are doing is unlocking that value by providing a much better consumer experience on the brand's website. And the beauty of this, as Arnaud mentioned in the previous answer, is our system continues to learn. So as more user interactions happen, we expect the performance to continually go up. And that's where this whole thing becomes really interesting.
So I actually went to radpowerbikes.com right now, and I was on the site as you were speaking, and I'm clicking around, looking at a few things, did a search, did a few things like that. I did notice, maybe you can and it's hard because we're not doing video right now, but I did notice maybe in the left-hand corner, in my particular instance, now it could be, geo located to Canada. It could be, I'm not part of the A/B test right now with Big Sur, but I did notice a kind of like a window in the corner that opened up and it said Rad Power Bike support. And there gives me a live chat option or a help center option. And then and I've not seen it like this ever in any website. So I know this is likely powered by you, but I found it interesting that there were nice, helpful articles available in there, more than just the owner's manual and a user's guide, but then I get into things about the battery charging guide and accessories and things like that were quite interesting. I am on a product page right now. Just explain to me what's happening here where this is not a proactively engaging thing. This is me seeing the icon and then engaging with either a live chat or a help center. I'm just trying to understand, is this part of the Big Sur system, or have I been A/B tested to not show kind of the proactive engagement?
Yeah, so I think what you're probably seeing is not the Big Sur experience, Steve.
Okay.
So if you go to radpowerbikes.com on desktop, you will see our Big Sur experience at the bottom of the screen. You will see like a search bar type thing that says, what can we help you find?
Okay.
And when you invoke that thing, you can basically ask any question that you want. Like you could say, hey, I'm 5'10" and I'm looking for a daily commute bike, and my commute distance is like 20 miles each way. What's the best bike for me? And you could give all of these just like how you would ask a normal, salesperson, and we would be able to pull in the best recommendations for you. You could even ask, okay, what accessories go along with it? Or if you have a child, what car seat, can I fix a car seat to this thing? Can I fix a child seat to this bike? All of those things you would be able to ask our AI sales agent. So it should be at the bottom on desktop, and then on mobile, it will be an icon right in the middle right of your screen.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I'll make sure I'll do some tests and some screenshots then for this episode. So I think it's kind of exciting to show a live implementation of it. It's going to be pretty easy for those that are listening now to go to Rad Power Bikes or going over to Wyze, WYZE.com, and you can actually see it running live there also.
That's right.
So that's awesome.
The other interesting engagement point is if you go to any product page or collections page on any of these stores, right below the add to cart button, you will see a set of questions that are automatically recommended for that specific user that is also powered by us. And these questions are personalized based on that user's journey. So if you and I land on the same product page, you and I will see slightly different questions based on our understanding of what products I'm more likely going to purchase. So that's another significant engagement point for our customers.
I love that. What I find interesting too is I find brands sometimes they find it challenging for their marketers and for their operations people to want to change and implement new technology. They know there's benefits. That clearly people want to embrace AI because they know it can be a competitive advantage. So what sort of advice do you have for merchants that are listening right now that, they know marketing operations, they know they want to do it, but how do they successfully adopt these AI tools? How do they get comfortable with these tools like yours? And I think that's the problem right now is they're pushing back a bit because they got product market fit. They're making millions of dollars. They're doing their thing. They want to improve their results, and they understand they need to start using some of these tools, but there's always a pushback. Like, what happens if I recommend this tool to the founder and I implement it? It's just a lot of people don't want to implement it because they're too scared about it may not work. And then there's all the human capital and money that went involved in wanting to start using something new. And so I just want to have your feedback about what have you seen from other merchants about if there are any challenges from teams and how they were able to overcome that.
Yeah, let me answer that question. So first of all, whether it's our solution or another, the first thing to do is to start from the right data. It's really important for the merchant to have really good metrics with regards to conversion so they can effectively measure the effectiveness of the solution that they're trying to implement. The second step is hiring an AI to sell on your website. It's very similar to hiring a large number of humans that would sell on your website as well, right? Mm-hmm. And so the question becomes, what kind of sales training material can they assemble, to explain when to sell what product and what product is good for what circumstances and things like that. So that would be like the generic case. For us, if a merchant is on Shopify, they can install our Shopify app, basically 2 clicks. It takes 1 minute. and then the agent is operational after 24 hours. If they're not on Shopify, the engineering team has a little bit of work to do. Usually it takes a day or so to use our SDK to report conversion to us and also publish a feed. The thing that merchants should think about, though, is that in any case, what they should do is a large-scale A/B test on their site. So basically, they can say, hey, we're going to take a subset of the consumers, we're going to expose them to that AI solution, and then take another set of consumers that are tracked but are not exposed to that AI tool, and that way they can measure the effectiveness. And once the effectiveness has been measured, they can be reassured that deploying that AI solution to the entire set of customers will have a positive effect on their top lines.
Right. Yeah, that makes complete sense. And so this is a private app from Shopify, so you just kind of give them the link. It auto injects into their kind of logged in experience, and then I guess it becomes an app inside their admin, and then from there, is that how you directly access your tool, or does the app link directly to your platform on a separate URL?
Yeah, exactly. So once they install the app, their version console becomes visible within their Shopify console.
Okay.
And then all they have to do is inject one line of JavaScript in their main template, and then we take care of everything else.
Okay.
And again, this is also available to people not using Shopify.
Right. Okay. I think the bulk of people that are listening here are certainly on Shopify. There's almost 5 million merchants that are having their stores powered by Shopify. So it's good that you're putting your flag mostly in the Shopify sand, so to speak, because I think there's like a lot of opportunity. Because I would argue that as I look around, and I'm nonstop on the web, I'm involved in e-commerce a lot. People are DMing me all the time on social, and so I'm looking at people's websites, and a lot of people don't have this technology turned on. And I think that's why you're here today. Is like we're here to educate people that there are ways of, with technology, to improve your conversion rate and your customer experience and your average order value. And it can happen. And I think we're getting kind of near the end of the show for today, but I just feel that there's an urgency right now that your technology exists. It's very easy. Clearly, you've proven it's easy to implement, and I believe there's time still. Like Black Friday, Cyber Monday has not happened yet. From this recording and even from the release date, it's and so I guess I ask you the question, saying that if it's that easy to implement, is there opportunity for brands to try the solution out? What are a good call to action or next steps for people that are listening? Say, yeah, I am not using this kind of stuff. People are very successful using it right now. How do I get involved? And so maybe I'll pass the torch to you and saying, what do you want those people that are listening today to do next? And is now a good time to want to implement this sort of technology?
100%, Steve. The answer is you still have time to implement this before Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So you can reach out to us via our website at bigsir.ai or through LinkedIn, or you could simply send me an email at vinod@bigsir.ai.
Okay.
We'd be very happy to discuss how we can help transform your conversion rates. We can really work with you to get this live through a free pilot before Black Friday, Cyber Monday starts. Okay. So there is plenty of time to do this right.
Oh, lovely. And then what sort of costs happen kind of post? Because I think that, we run the trial and we do the A/B test and we see that there's a significant lift to justify the cost of the solution. So how do you price the solution? Is it based on the incremental value that's been raised, or is it a kind of a flat fee, or is it a traffic thing, or a number of bots engaged? So I'm just curious on kind of how you price the product.
Yeah, so we have two models. We are flexible on that, depending on the customer. One model is based on the volume of monthly unique visitors that you see on average. So it's a fixed fee based on that price. The other model that we have is based on a commission on the sale that's being driven by our platform.
I see.
So either one, we can make it work. Mm-hmm. And what we have observed with our existing customers is based on the lift that we are driving, there is practically no other channel that you can use to get the same incremental lift at the ROI, based on our pricing. So it'll be a very attractive, proposition that you can, of course, evaluate based on the free pilot A/B testing results, and then make a decision to move forward.
Lovely. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. I know where everybody's in different locations. I really appreciate the fact that we recorded today. We pushed hard to kind of get this recorded now and getting out into the wilds. I know it's urgent and important. I guess the thought is, and I know Harley Finkelstein from Shopify brings this up a lot, but he talks about share of wallet. And this year, it's about 1,400 and change. It's kind of the average share of wallet, how much money people are spending. And I see some early Black Friday deals that are kind of coming out. And there's opportunity, and there's going to be a significant driver of traffic just because of the season that we're involved in right now. And I think getting involved with Big Sur, it's just like you're doing yourself a disservice. Like, you're leaving so much money on the table by not at least trying it and installing it and getting the pilot going. And so I really feel this is going to be a great opportunity for a lot of folks. I'm hoping we get some good case studies out of net new customers that try you out. And once again, gentlemen, thank you again for coming on the show and just kind of transparently sharing about what you're building, and congrats. And I wish you tremendous success moving forward with this product.
Thank you, Steve. Pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, have yourself a great afternoon. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of eCommerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.